Wait.
Class person guy.
All right. So, what is PHP? So, PHP is an acronym standing for Hypertext Processor, and then things you have to know before you can be able to write a program or a script in PHP. Having a foreknowledge on HTML and CSS is a plus. It will make things quite easier. I guess you guys have done HTML and CSS, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've done that. All right. Thanks, courage. All right. So we all need this PHP to help make our work, quite easier. So let's just dive into the introductory parts. Some things you have to know about the PHP. So we've already looked at the acronym, and it's also widely used. An open source scripting language. Yeah, it's an open source, and these scripts are normally executed on a server. They are free to download. PHP is free to download and use. PHP is powerful enough to be at the core of the biggest blogging system on the web, which is WordPress. So those of you who want to also know how to uh, learn how to take your website development into a higher level, you have to look at this application called WordPress, and it has everything to do with the use of the PHP as well. Yeah, so PHP is deep enough to run large social networks, and it's also easy enough to be a beginner's best server side. Yeah, so once you're able to learn the PHP, you are also going to be good at server side scripting language grammar. Yeah, then a PHP file. A PHP file can contain text, normal text. You can also have HTML codes. We have CSS codes, JavaScript, and even the PHP codes as well. So PHP code is executed on the server, and then the result is returned to the browser as plain HTML. PHP files have the extension .php. So let's note that. So anytime you are saving your file in PHP, you need the extension .php. So what can PHP do? PHP can generate dynamic page content. So when we say dynamic page content, instances where, for instance, so for instance, we have maybe an application where I can see my name when I log onto it. You also have another application where you can also see your name. So if you want to see Courage, you see Courage, once you launch that particular application. Yeah, so some part or some page or some part of the website is dynamic. It can change with respect to some data that you have provided, and PHP will help us to do that. So it's very, very important to learn PHP if you are a web developer. So we also have PHP can help you create, open, read, write, delete, and close files on the server. Yeah, so since you guys are conversant with the use of online applications, normally when you are signing up onto a particular application, you are being asked for certain data, for personal information, and other relevant information as well. So ask yourself, when you click on the save or submit, where do these information go? And how is it even carried out? And PHP is the guy that makes sure that this happens. So we have the HTML where it gives you, a structural design of how the page, the content of the page will look like. Then we have the CSS coming up with the beauty of how various controls, that are being placed on the website. Then we have the PHP helping you to gather data from, the interface to a required server, and can also help you to access information. All your information has, to be sent to the information are being sent to a server, and it is the PHP that can help you retrieve or save, delete, whatever you want to do. Yeah. I want to also ask, are you guys doing database?
No.
Not that
Not doing it.
database. Are you sure?
So please, we are doing database
No.
management.
Uh,
Well,
Sarah, come
computer
on.
science,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
the computer science students are doing the database
Oh,
semester,
okay.
I think. But data science students are not doing it for
They
this
are
sem.
doing for this semester. Oh, okay.
Cybersecurity as well. Cybersecurity as well.
Oh, okay, okay. So some of you are doing, others are also doing, but that's fine. All right. So those who are doing it, they know what a database is. All right. So PHP can help collect form data, help send and receive cookies, add, delete, modify your database, and it can also use to control human access, to various applications. We also have PHP that can also help to encrypt data. Sarah, I'm already recording this. All right, so those always asking whether to record. Stop doing that because I just remember after downloading, I'll give it to you online. I normally want to cut out certain things before I send it to you guys. All right, so why PHP? Now PHP runs on various platforms, top of Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, etc. Yeah, so PHP is compatible with almost all servers used today, like the Apache. You will see them. You will see one of them very soon. Now, PHP supports a wide range of databases. PHP is free. You can download it with this link, and PHP is easy to learn and runs efficiently on server side. Yeah, so to be able to write a program or a script in PHP, there are certain tools that we need, just as we saw when it comes to the Python. Now, PHP also has its own environment. Yeah, so we first we need a text editor. So text editors can name them the Notepad that comes with Windows. We also have the Notepad plus plus, Visual Studio Code, TextMate, Sublime Text, and all of you. So all these or any kind of text editor you have can help you write codes. So this is where I'm going to write the code. Then you also need a server, okay, a server that supports the Apache server. So with the Apache server, we have what we call the WAMP server. Now the WAMP server is for Windows platform. Those who are using Windows, you can download the WAMP for your server, the web server. Also have LAMP. These are for people using the Linux platform. Also have the MAMP, that is those who are using the Mac operating system or the Mac machine. They also have the XAMPP. So for XAMPP, if you have the XAMPP, you can install it on Mac, Linux, and Windows. So the XAMPP is cross-platform. Whatever platform you have, you can go ahead and the XAMPP and go. But once you have one, you can't run it on MAMP. If you have MAMP, you can't also run it on what? WAMP. Yeah, so for this course, I have the XAMPP, so I'll be using the XAMPP to work to do my job. All right, what else do we need? We need also a database. Now, once you download the XAMPP, once you download the XAMPP, you have the ability to access the PHP admin. That will also help you to create a database. So by the time we finish or we go through to some level of the learning of the PHP, we'll be looking at what we call root, where we be creating, reading, or retrieving, um, deleting and updating data from a database. And we will need a database to help us, we'll use the PHP to be able to make those changes within the database. Yeah. So once you download the XAMPP, once you have the XAMPP, you get access to, a database that will help you. Now, let me ask those doing the database, what platform are you using?
SQL.
You're using SQL,
MySQL.
MySQL. Yeah. So that is fine. MySQL is also okay.
SQL.
All right. So we also have the web browser. So you also need a web browser that will help you to view your, remember it's a online platform. So you need any of the web browsers to be able to see uh, your output or whatever you have coded. Okay. Yeah. So these four things, we need them to be able to enjoy the use or coding when it comes to the PHP. All right. So PHP syntax. Um, Note a PHP script is executed on the server, and the plain HTML result is sent back to the browser. So we are saying that PHP script is executed on the server, and the plain HTML result is sent back to the browser. Now, basic PHP syntax, we have the opening tag and also the closing tag. So the opening tag, we have the left angle bracket followed by question mark, then the keyword PHP. There's no space in between these characters. To bring a space, then you may be writing something else. Then to close it, so this is more like the HTML opening tag and also with the closing tag. So the closing tag, we have the question mark and the right angle bracket. So when you look at the image here, we have the PHP, and then in between the opening tag and the closing tag, we have all our codes that will be run in particular section. So it's so simple. So writing a PHP code is more like, see it as you are writing the HTML where you have the exclamation dot type HTML, then you close that one to, you also have the HTML text, then you have the title. So opening and closing containers, will help you. So it's the same thing with PHP. You just begin with the opening tag and then the closing tag to be able to start putting your code. So anything that you put in here should be a PHP code for your program. All right, so this is a sample of a PHP. Now, the default extension for PHP files is .php. A PHP file normally contains HTML tags and some PHP scripting code. So you have a file. So this is a simple file in PHP, okay? And when you look closely, you are familiar with these guys. Okay, so these are HTML codes, and we have the closing body and the HTML tags here. Then in here we have the PHP. So in the PHP, so on this particular HTML codes, we also have the PHP code also showing up on the same. Yeah, and it's possible you can embed the PHP code onto your HTML codes. Yeah, so in here we have echo LOL, just as we had in Python. If you want to display an information on your screen, you need the print. Here in PHP, we don't say print, but we say echo. So echo is the word in order to be able to, come up with a message or an output. So we have the keyword echo, and then to bracket you pass in your string. If it is a string, you put in the quote. If not, you just have the variable there, and then you terminate. So just as we have in C++, after every line of code you terminate, we have the PHP making sure that every line of code has the terminator. All right, so we are going to have a simple activity to see or to appreciate the PHP for the first time. All right, so they're supposed to download and install Notepad++ if you want to use this particular editor. If you want to go with Sublime Text, whatsoever that you have, the Visual Studio Code, you are welcome. Then you also have to download and install the XAMPP. All these are in the slide, and you can get the link. Or you can just go online and see how you can get that done. All right, so from there we'll just write a simple PHP program. All right, so let me come back to my desktop. All right, so I'll go ahead and search for my Notepad++. So just follow my lead, and you realize that this is not anything difficult to deal with. All right, so I have my Notepad++ application. This is how it looks like. And then I've opened a new file where I can write my uh, codes. All right, so in here we're told that to run this we need a Notepad++, and I have that ready to work with. And then secondly, we need the XAMPP. So I'll go into my PC, search for my XAMPP. So this is also how the XAMPP looks like. So I'll click on that to launch the XAMPP. Now, once you launch the XAMPP, this is how it will appear. So so you just look for the Apache and make sure it is running. So to know whether it's running, just click on Start. You have to start it. Now the XAMPP serves as like a local host. Now, as we all know, if you don't have data, you can't access, let me say, the simplest application like Google. So you need data to be able to access, the server on the internet. Now here, the XAMPP serves as a local host. Okay. Let's say that it's a server, but this server is only on your machine. Unlike Google, where it is situated somewhere and everyone can have access to. But with your XAMPP serves as a server, where you can use that one to test your application. And that one, you don't need, this particular application, you don't need internet to access it. All you need is to have the application, and then it will work as a server. So once you are done with your application, you can go ahead and now buy uh, a hosting platform that you can now put your work in there, and then your web application will be hosted online. So with that one, you need the internet or you need data to be able to access that. Yeah, so the example here is a server that will help you to access. So once you click on the stop, it should start like this. It will give you some PIDs and also a port number that is running on. And you can also activate the MySQL. That is going to also help you to get access to the PHP admin. That is the database aspect of this particular thing. Yeah, so once we have this running, then we are good to go. All right, so before we run, we need to do some small additions. Now, we've started our Apache and our MySQL. We've also opened our Notepad++. So that is that. Now we are supposed to write a program and save it as index with the extension .php and store in a folder. Now, once we are done doing that, we can put our program into the htdocs. I'll show you where it is in a bit. Then we can go ahead and go to the browser and call out that particular file and see what we have in there. All right, so let me go back to my file here. So in here, I'm supposed to save this particular file. Before that, let me go ahead and put in my PHP opening tag to tell the system that I'll be coding in PHP. So all I need is the opening tag and the closing tag. As simple as that. So once you are done, you save your work. So I'm going to save this on a desktop. Then I'll give it a name index as the what's the name? The slide suggests. Now I already have index on the desktop, so I'm going to delete that. That doesn't conflict with whatever I have in here. So I have that here. All right. So I'm going to go back. Yeah, so index, and then I'll save as type. Once I click on that, I'll look for PHP. I'll look for PHP. So I have PHP here. So I'll click on that. So the file name is here and it should be stored as a PHP file. So I click on save, and then once you save successfully, you realize that the color has changed from black to red, which means, yeah, we've saved the file in a PHP format. Now, in our slide, we're asked to store this particular file in a folder. So on my desktop, I'm going to create a folder and I'll name it demo. So in a demo folder, and then I'll look for my index file, save it there, and then that is it. All right, so now to be able to show or to run your application on the server, you have to come to your file explorer. So in file explorer, you go to drive C. Now, once you download and install the XAMPP, you should find it here. If you don't find it here, you can either go into the program files, whether this or that, based on where the system will successfully install the application. Mine is here, so I'll just go directly to the exam section. Then I'll look for the htdocs folder. So this htdocs folder is here. So I'll look for this particular folder. Take note of that. htdocs folder. Now the htdocs, then in here, I'll cut and paste my folder into that particular folder. So this is my folder that I've created. Yeah, so if you want your applications to run, this is where you are supposed to keep all your folders. Now, if you check my htdocs, I have other applications that I'm running. It's very good to always keep your files because you can create multiple PHP files within a particular program. So once you have them in a particular folder, it's very easy to manage. Okay, so I have this password manager. Now, this password manager was done by your previous classmates. I won't say classmates, your previous mates. Okay, yes. So you can see that they have this particular work has this particular PHP file. You can see the extension here, extension. So these are different PHP files. So in your program, you can have multiple PHP files, and to group them, you need to just create a folder so that you can differentiate the name. So once you are dealing with a particular application, for instance, I have a file management application I'm dealing with, and there are other folders in them. In here too, you can have other PHP files in here, and there are lots of them. Okay, yeah. So you have to try and put your codes or your files in a folder so that they don't look plenty in here or clumsy when you are having different programs being mixed up all together. Yeah, so this is the name of the folder we have given it. You can give it any name, but make sure it's a name that once your eyes falls on that, you know what the name, know what the particular application is up to. You can see loan, for instance. So loan here means that this is a folder that has to. This is a folder that is having a program that's for collecting loans and stuff. So password manager, you already have it in mind. Yeah. So based on the name of the folder, you just go ahead and give it the rightful name based on what you are doing. So have that in mind when you are developing or you are writing programs in a web development aspect. All right. So once you put in the work here, let's go ahead and then put in a code. So go ahead and then we say echo hello world in PHP programming. Yeah, so this is a string and we've put that in the quotes. And remember, after that line, you need a terminator with a semicolon to get that done. So once you are done, to see the effectiveness of your update, you just go ahead and save your work. I've already saved my Control S. You can also click here to get that done. Now let's see how we can run on the browser. So this is the important aspect. All right, so I open a tab. Now to run my PHP program, I need to begin with a keyword localhost with a slash, then followed by the folder's name. So the folder's name is demo slash then the name of the file, which is the index.php. So once I'm done, I strike on the enter key and you can see that we have hello world PHP programming. So this is what we wrote and we are getting that exactly on our screen. Yeah, so you can go ahead and then do a lot of echoing. This is my message to you. All right, so don't worry. Do I have my Rastafarians here? All right, so don't worry. Yeah, so we have that, and then I can refresh. So this is my message to you. Unfortunately, it is continuing on the same line. So it's also possible to just break from this particular aspects of the code. Yeah, so once you are done, you can go ahead and to just have a break in here. Now look at something. Now when I click on the exam and I stop this from running, if I'm to run this, it will show an error because it says the server cannot be what fetched. So the local host here cannot be fetched. So this is one of the reasons why you need the exam to get the job done. So sometimes if you are running the code and it's not working, try and recall that probably the server is not on. So just go back, start the Apache. The Apache is enough to run it. Yeah. As for the MySQL, once you want to get into databases, then you can go ahead and run it as well. So once I start this, I refresh that, you can see that everything is working perfectly and fine. All right, so we've gone through this particular slide, and then this particular aspect also shows or demonstrates whatever I've already explained. So we also have demo. So this is the part where you are pasting or you are putting your folder into the htdocs for it to be run. Then yes, so we are assuming that the index.php file has this particular information in there. And then once you start the Apache, you can now go to the browser, any browser of your choice, localhost, then you just go and mention the name of the folder. You can go ahead and add the file's name with the extension, and then it will successfully run. And see, welcome to simply learn in here. All right, so we'll come back again after our deadline. Our deadline here ends. Is there any question before we proceed? Now, we've actually not gotten into the actual, codes that will be used to cook up. We are now learning how to run. Then in our next lecture, which we are going to have after these 2 minutes, now see how we can begin from the variables and how to, the things to cook up this particular program. Please, any question before you, or is there any confusion at all? All right, so let's move on. Yeah, so let's now dive in deeper into our PHP. All right, so this is a scripting language and we can't escape variables. So by the end of this lecture, we should know what variables are, and then we look at the string functions as well. All right, so per experience in other programming languages, we know what variables are, containers for storing information and the likes. And variables have names, and we've already looked at some of the things, so I'm not going to bother ourselves too much with this variable thing. But there are some exceptions when it comes to PHP. Now, one funny thing about this particular course is that if you don't take care, you end up uh, writing different languages in one particular program. So assuming you're writing a program for PHP, if care is not taken, you may be seeing Python in it. You may be seeing what's the name, C++ as well. Don't be confused. Know the language you have been asked to, and write accordingly, because you're going to be having extra. Aside this PHP, you're going to have the last description of it, which is the JavaScript. And if I'm supposed to write, I've seen students who maybe write a code in Python, and they end up mixing up with PHP and what have you. Yeah, so let's continue. Now, rules for PHP variables. Just be mindful of these things. If you are writing programming in PHP, it should be filled with PHP. If JavaScript, it should go like that, and the likes. Yeah, so rules for PHP. Now, with PHP variables, every variable must begin with the dollar sign. Just in case you don't know where the dollar sign can be found, look at the keyboard. You have the key number 4. So shift plus 4 should give you the dollar sign. Yes, so every variable must begin with a dollar sign, followed by the variable name. So every variable must begin with a dollar sign, then the variable name will now follow. So the variable name, as we already know in some of the programming languages, we have a variable name must begin. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The only difference here is that there should be a dollar sign beginning. So the same rules you had in
Hello
Python
there.
and C++. Yes.
Please, are you using the slide because I'm only seeing the 30th slide?
30th slide. Interesting. I'm sure maybe your network is not giving you that. It's not giving you the current notice.
No, sir, we are all seeing the same.
Me too.
So please, the one who's just saying whatever it is, are you saying the same thing that he's saying, or
Yes, we have seen the
Yes.
slide.
you are saying the 30th slide?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We are
Are
all
you
seeing the
sure?
old one.
Slide of the first
I
lecture.
think we only
Yes, we are sure.
Yes, yeah, sure, sir.
What about now?
A line. You just drew a line.
Come again. Are you saying something different? Let me stop.
No,
The
sir.
Okay.
Yes, Rachel, let's see.
what about now? Are you saying PHP variables?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. All right. So thanks for the prompt. Yeah, sometimes some people, based on their location, you may end up, having a slower receiving of data. Yeah, so please, those talking, check your mics. You are making noise. Okay. Yeah, so before this particular lecture ends, we'll be looking at variables, comments, and then string functions. So I was on PHP variables. So variables, I was saying, is just normal containers as we already. Yeah. So as I was saying, we have the same rules that governs variable naming in Python and also C++ also applies here. But the only difference here is that you need a $ as the first point of contact before the other rules will follow. All right, so as we already know, variable names must begin with a letter or an underscore. A variable name cannot start with a number. A variable name can only contain letters, numbers, and the underscore. So we have alphanumeric characters, as we already know. Now, just as we learned that Python is case sensitive, we also have PHP to also be a case sensitive language. So even though the spellings are the same here, cases are different. So here they will be seen as different variables. That is what we mean by case sensitivity. All right. Let's determine whether the following variables are valid or invalid. Number one, is it valid or invalid? If it is yes, if it is, you explain. If it is no, you explain.
Valid. Number one is valid.
Number one, someone says valid, someone is also saying valid. So if you say valid, you explain. If you say valid, you explain that one too.
Because it follows the rules by starting with a $ and yeah.
Are you the one saying it's valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid. And your point is just it begins with a $. If you say that your point is not strong enough.
Also, it's not valid rules such as starting with number or
Good. And it has or it can contain, remember variables they can contain letters or alphabets. So just give me back the rules in a nice way that supports your answer, whether it's valid or invalid. All right, point 2, valid or invalid. Yeah, you guys are still thinking about it.
Invalid, sir.
Invalid.
Are you sure? Who said invalid?
Invalid.
All right, go ahead and explain why it is invalid.
Okay, so it's invalid
Benjamin.
because even though there is a $ okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's invalid. It's invalid because even though there's a $ starting the variable name, there's a number that which makes it
Okay.
starting the variable, making it invalid.
Okay. Thanks, Aban. Yeah, so this is invalid because the variable name is between a number. And remember, variable names must not begin with a number. Yes, even though there's a $ with the first point of contact, the naming should not begin with the number. Okay, what about 3? Third point.
Valid.
Invalid. Why? Oh, I said why.
No, I said valid.
And I'm asking why. Why is it valid?
Because,
Why do you term it as valid?
because it follows the rules of having a $ beginning, and after the $ there's no number or it doesn't begin with a number.
No. You said it is invalid, all right?
Valid.
You're saying valid. It's valid. Okay.
It's invalid because it contains other symbols like.
Yeah, so Kofi Sapon, it's invalid. It's invalid.
Yes, sir.
Remember, yes, the answer is invalid, not valid, because it contains special characters like the at and the dot. Point 4. Yes, let's go at point 4.
Invalid.
5,
Valid.
Valid.
6.
Valid.
Valid.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Valid.
Invalid.
7.
Valid.
Valid.
And I said, are you sure? Someone is saying invalid. You. 7,
Valid.
Valid.
8,
Invalid.
Invalid.
9.
Invalid.
Invalid.
All right. Yeah, so these are answers. If you're able to get them correct, then you have the right sense. All right, so yes.
Yes, I have a question with the number 6.
Yes.
I don't know if in PHP if it's not a keyword or
If it's a
if
keyword,
beginning with
the word
okay,
if
so
is a keyword.
so
Okay.
it beginning with a capital I here makes it a different
Exactly.
word.
From the key, from the reserved word there. So it becomes a valid variable.
Okay, sir.
Sure. Remember, it is case sensitive. All right, so let's see how you can create and initialize various variables. Yeah, so just as we had in in Python, there is no command, whatsoever specifying the kind of data type you want to. The data type is being established once you specify the kind of value that you want to assign to your variable. Yeah, so once you assign the value, then it determines that this particular variable is a string variable or an integer variable or a floating point variable. Yeah, so we have a floating point variable or what you call a double. We also have the integer or the whole number variable. Then you also have the string variable. All right, so that is with the PHP just as we had Python. Yeah, so let's go back to our editor here. Then we can go ahead and paste in our various texts. Hi, sorry. Then we have under variable x as 5. We have variable y. Remember, variable names should be descriptive. Yeah, so to echo, we can just go ahead and echo our message is txt, and that is that. So let me break here as well so that it will be different from the others. So I'll go ahead and save and then run this. $sign xt variable in line 6. So unexpected error. What could be the problem? Yeah, so the error is coming before that because of the terminator. I should have asked you guys to figure it out. But let's go on. All right, so we have here, hi, I am here. So I've passed this value to this particular variable and I'm echoing it with this particular variable. Is it possible to also put your variable in a quote? Then we save it. Then I can run again. So let me go back and then display this twice. One with a quote, then two without the. So you can see that it works here. Now with a quote, I can't break now because this one has no quotes. Breaking it becomes a problem. So if I'm to add a break here, the HTML tag break, I'm going to get an error. But see this, if I'm to bring this before that, because this one has a quote, I go ahead and put in there this, it will just give me the ability. Ralph, am I being put? All right, so with the quotes, I can go ahead and put in my HTML tag. And then once I run that, I'll have it in the next line like that. Yeah, so the choice is yours when to use the quote and when not to use the quote. You are welcome to do that. Yeah, so you can do a lot of things with that. Let's see another stuff. So assuming I have this and that, I can go ahead and then maybe say maybe addition. I can create another variable for maybe addition. And then I can say that add x plus y. Okay. So once I have this, I can go ahead and echo my answer. Yeah, so I can go ahead and then refresh my page. Yeah,
You
so
terminate it.
yes, I was about to ask that. I intentionally did that. So where didn't I terminate? Tell me.
Line 8.
Yeah,
Line 8. Beautiful. All right, so go ahead and save, then refresh, then we have it here. So this is our answer, 11.8. So you can see how flexible it is. And it's flexible because you already have, a prior knowledge on other programming language, like the the Python. So it's kind of quite, easy to learn. Just note the few changes and then you're going to be fine. So let's look at comments as well. So comments, which are very useful when it comes to in terms of programming. Yeah, so we have comments that is not being executed or can be executed by the program. So comments are used, we already know what comments are, but let me just iterate on that. It lets us understand the code, reminds ourselves, as programmers, where to start off, where to continue. When you see certain things, once we read them, it helps us to give us a nice understanding. So types of comments, we have the line of code comments. So the line of comment or single line commenting, we have the double slash or the hashtag. Remember, the hashtag was used for commenting when we were dealing with the Python. So you can go ahead and then, so assuming I don't want to go ahead and add anything, I can just comment this one so that once the program is running, you can skip this particular line. And once it does that, we are going to have an error on our page. It says, notice undefined variable addition in line 11. So we go to line 11. And because we commented this earlier on and we are displaying something which is no longer there, it will flag the error. So line 11, addition is not a variable that we can, there's no information in here. So we have to comment on that one too. So I'm going to use the hashtag to make sure the commenting is done. So I'll save this, rerun, and everything is gone. Yeah, so this is how you can comment a single line. So instances where you don't want to comment a single line, you are welcome to do that as well. Let's see how you can make the multiple line experience. So we have the multiple line comments. This looks similar to that of C++ multiple line of comments. So I'll copy this and then paste it here. Sorry. So to show multiple line of codes to be commented, we need the opening and the closing tag. Yeah, so assuming these are various line of codes and you want to comment, this is 1, 2, 3. Just do the opening tag with a slash followed by the star or the asterisk. You also have the asterisk closing and then the slash closing it. And that we can comment whatever it is. Yeah, so when I go ahead and save, I shouldn't see anything like that. Everything should remain constant. So if I want to comment all of this as easy as it is, I'll just take this one, take it to the initial page, and every information here is a comment. So nothing will be showing because we've commented everything. There's no program running in there. All right, so that is that for our various types of comments. Refresh everything back to long. Let me go ahead and then comment this, comment that. Save this. All right, so using comments to leave out parts of the code. So this is a full code, and it's also possible to use the comments in between the particular line. So usually you see people commenting about the whole line, but PHP also has that ability where you can comment in between the quotes. Yes, so that is also possible. Let me intentionally copy this. Let's run to see whether it will work. I don't know, when I copy from my what's the name? From my slide to this particular editor, it doesn't actually always work smoothly for me. All right, so I'm going to retype everything, else it will generate an error, and we will not appreciate exactly what I was trying to show here. Then I do my echo, and I've typed the same echo, and it has now worked. I don't know why. All right, so let me intentionally comment on this. I'll save. So I should have x to be what? What will be the value of x if it's run successfully?
10.
Pardon?
10.
10.
10. All right. I'll go ahead and you can see the 10 also showing successfully here. Yes. So that is that for us. So it's also possible to just code, so a comment in between the lines. So within a code, you can go ahead and do that as well. It's possible with Python. All right, so we are saying that PHP, sorry, this is possible with PHP. Now, PHP is a loosely typed language. In the above example, we notice that we did not have to tell PHP that the type of data the variable is. Now, PHP automatically associates the data type to the variable depending on its value. Since the data types are not set to a strict sense, you can do things like adding a string to an integer without causing an error. Now, this I've already explained in Python, but let's take a look at it again. Now, what you're saying is this. Unlike C++, now C++, when you intentionally declare a variable like this as an int uh, x, okay? Now, you can't store any other
So
value.
listen to what they're saying.
Wow. You can't store any other value to the value x. But a language like, so for instance, this int x should just be anything like 5, any whole number, that is it. And it remains like that forever. But in Python and PHP, for instance, now you can see that here this is x equals 5. Okay, x equals 10 because we have 5 plus 5. I can also go ahead and then say echo the same value x, sorry, the last sign x, and I'll say I have changed my type or my data type. As you can see, the data type here is initially the x here is a whole number. Now I've gone ahead to just give it another type like this. So let's save and then run to see whether it will still work for us. Sorry. Unexpected x in line 23. Oh, it's missed. Echo. This guy was confusing us. Yeah, so I have changed my type. So you can see that this same x that used to be an integer has now been changed to uh, what's the name? A string data type. So this is a string data type. So the reason why we are saying that PHP is a loose type of language because the same variable can be used to play different data types. Okay, I think we saw that in Python as well. All right. So actually, I don't want to. I was supposed to talk about various scopes, local, global, and static. You will not understand right from explaining now, so I'm going to skip that. And then as we grow with the language, you have to get to know how to write functions in PHP first, so that once you are dealing with global variables, you understand and how to position it properly. So I'm going to skip that so that we just look at the final part that was in the initial slide where we started all this. Yeah, so we also have various string functions. These are really handy when it comes to PHP programming. There are so many of them, and it is up to you and I to know all of them. You can go online, search the various string functions. Now, every function has this opening and closing parentheses or the brackets. And in PHP, these particular function names begin with code str, and then whatever it is that has to follow. So when we say str length, it means that you want to return the number of characters within a particular string. So sometimes you want to find a number of characters, sometimes you want to go ahead and find certain information like how many words can be found in a particular string. If you also want to reverse a word or a sentence or a string, it's also possible with the strref. We also have the position. If you want to find a particular string within a string or a particular text within a string, then you need a position of that. If you also want to replace a particular string with another, it's also possible here. So you have to know how they are being used. So for instance, we have so how they are being used is this. So to find a particular length, just say echo str length, then you pass in your string, then it will come up with the output for you. If you want to find a word count, then this is also like this. If you want to reverse a word, you can see how simple it is. So inside the brackets, you pass in your string and the job will be done. Then with the position, you have the first word. It takes two parameters. Now to know whether a function accepts two or three parameters, it's just based on the separation of a comma. So we have hello world. The hello world is the first string, and then what position are you trying to find? Then you pass in that word and that one to. And we'll look at them one after the other in a bit. Then to replace a word to also takes so how many parameters do this one takes? Based on the explanation of parameters here, how many parameters this one takes?
3.
3. It's not 12, please, it's 3. So parameters, we have 1 separated by a comma, 2, then we also have what? This. So replace this word with this word in this particular sentence. So wherever you see word, replace it with what? Dolly. All right, so let's go ahead and try them. So we are on string functions. So first of all, we want to check the string function. We want to count the number of characters within a string. So to do that, we need a function called str length. Then you just then just open and close the brackets. All right, so when we echo something like echo, so we want to display value to, so we just say str. I can see that the functions are also showing up on our screen here. So this once you start typing it will just show up. Then we have the length. So right now we have this as, so all these are string. So you can see to upper, to time, to lower. You have to explore. So just know that these things are there, so that in instances where you are looking to do something, you can ask questions online, you find them, they come and apply onto your work. So all right, so let's continue. So I want to count the number of number of characters within a particular string. So I can go ahead and then put in value here. Let's terminate. Sorry. So once I do that, let me refresh. Yeah, it's giving me 18. So all these here, we have 18. I don't want to count that. All right, so this is lovely. So let's see how many characters that we have here. It says 15. So let's check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you can see that spaces are also included to know the number of characters within that particular string. All right, so we can also test for the str rev. Remember, the rev is to reverse a particular string. So let's put the same string in here. Then let's reverse it. Another one showing here. All right, so we have this particular reverse string here. So this is lovely. All right, so our next string we want to look at the echo str word count. So we want to count the number of values. So number of words within. So this we have only 3 words. Let's see whether we are going to get that showing. Yeah, so we have 3 here as expected. So same, we have the word position. So str post, then it takes 2 parameters. We pass in our let's go back to our slide. Yeah, so that is that for that. So I'll save and then refresh. It says 2. Yeah, so the position of is in second position. So 1, 2. All right. So we have 1 more to go, which is the replace. Yeah, so there are lots of them. Like I said, we can't work on all. So replace. So replace with replace this. So we find is, replace it with, let's say, okay. So we run. So find this and replace it with this in this particular sentence. So you can go ahead and refresh and see what we have here. The 3. Sorry. All right. Yeah. So I think this should be it. Sorry, I didn't change this. Replace. So this is lovely. Have you seen what is happening here? So wherever it says is, now there's is here that replace with the R, and then there's is here that replace it with the R. Yeah, so that is that for this particular lecture. Please, any question before we bring it to a close on what we've done so far?
Please, I have a question.
Yes, James.
Please, instead of using full strings, why don't you put the strings inside variables and use them as the parameters?
Yeah, welcome. It's programming. You can do that as well. You can just assign to the variable then pass it. It's possible. We've seen examples like that, isn't it? Like this one, for instance, we pass the value to a variable, and when during the echo, we just went ahead to display the variable instead of, and you can see here too, we went straight ahead, and then we declared, we just went ahead to display the string directly. So it is your, if you want to do that, you are welcome. So instead of passing the string directly, you can put it in a variable, and then you can just pass in the variable. It's programming.
Okay.
Now, anyhow you want it, and cook it. Yeah. So without much ado, can call it a day. See you next week. God willing. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.